Welcome to the Truth About Gangstalkers, Part 8. The Myths of Gangstalkers and Gangstalking Continued. My gangstalkers are using very simple technology to commit organized stalking. All they use is a directional antenna, a linear amplifier, and a microwave transceiver. So they basically can send and receive information. This is really basic stuff. Most radio stations have it. A lot of people have antennas coming from their home, which can be used if configured illegally to commit gang stalking. Not to say that everyone who has an amateur radio is a gang stalker, but they have the potential to be. The knowledge about gang stalking, how to do it, is not that hard and easy to follow. My gang stalkers also told me that if I ever tried to track them down using high frequency directing finding like Huff Duff or other direction finding equipment or telemetry equipment, they would hop and skip multiple frequencies by using other gang stalking networks in the area, as well as LANs and WANs, WAN, wide area networks in my neighborhood from my neighbors, so they could essentially track me and monitor me using neighbors' systems as repeaters, making them repeaters for their own usage. Because what they have basically is a ground station, like any FM radio station has, that transmits radio signals and information, and but they have a transceiver or a transmitter and a receiver, because they have to be able to send and transmit information. So it's very similar to FM radios, AM radio stations. Even television is broadcast via microwaves, and just about any data can be broadcast via a radio wave. Not any type of radio, but a radio wave. It's just the speeds can be very slow to very quick, just depending on the methods and the power used. It's also very similar. The gangstalkers are very similar to using a CB or amateur radio, to bleed over any existing conductive material or liquid, just by increasing the output wattage of any transceiver or transmitter. This is often described as interference. And if you look at FCC Code of Federal Regulations, Title 47, Part 15, it states that any radio wave creating equipment, which covers everything from microphones, telephones, faxes, radios, even electronic hand tools and electric shavers, that these objects should both be able to receive radio wave transmissions, and while also not blocking any other radio wave transmissions. So it basically says that it means that everything electronic and conductive, not everything conductive, but everything electronic, should be able to receive radio wave transmissions and not jam them in any way. Radio frequency jamming is illegal in the United States and many other countries, but you can still buy jammers online and use them at your own discretion. Just don't get caught with one, or you might be prosecuted. And you can jam a number of different frequencies, even jam Wi-Fi, cell phone signals, but it's hard to pick up on the exact frequency that maybe your gang stalkers are using, or somebody is using to spy on you, unless you have sophisticated equipment and several points to record their signal, so you can get a direction on where they're transmitting from. There's a lot of other signals intelligence type information which is very good about picking up signals and also to identify where these signals are coming from, who's creating them, and whether they're misinformation, disinformation, or something else. But what the Gangstalkers are basically doing to make it easy is they're bleeding over, so they're causing interference, and so it's basically like when you have turned on a radio and picked up a cell phone call, or when you were talking, if everybody had landlines, you could possibly pick up somebody else's phone conversation. These are that wasn't your own. This is a type of bleeding over and interference which you can create the environment for yourself by making modifications to existing legal equipment and by making it illegal, and then operating it out where the FCC won't be monitoring it, or if they are, there's plenty of ways to get around it. But it's basically interference. Is all Gangstalking is they're interfering with your area and sending radio waves to your area, and it's their conductive environment that you're in, which is basically everywhere you walk or sit in a car. Your car is a big electromagnetic conductor. Anything conductive can pick up their signal because they can zero it in on anything they want, including liquids, which is a very good conductor. But so what they do is very easy, and almost anybody can learn how to do it if they practice enough. And I've seen a lot of reports online of people talking about how to bleed over onto intercom systems in neighborhoods or just anywhere, and that's just simply what it is. And just creating that type of environment and then zoning in on where you want to monitor and record, or where you want your voices to be, and so it's this it covers any type of communication from oral. I mean, they can get like anything with noise. So a human's respiration makes noise, heart rate and pulse are able to be recorded, and because that makes noise, the sounds in your eardrum. Plus, they can monitor any form of oral communication that's verbal, or backscatter radiation coming from electronic equipment such as computers, like Van Eck radiation, EYCK, or even the audible ultrasound noises from the fan on your computer can be picked up. Because when keys on your computer are being pressed, your computer processor, and your fan, even the fan on the computer, will make different noises, which can help detect what key on the keyboard was pressed, and it can get really, really intricate. And This is basically done by the Gangstalkers for monitoring. So they monitor their victims 24/7, 365, and then they do talk to their victims, such as myself. And you are hearing voices, but you're hearing human voices. I know I was not delusional. I know I was not hearing voices. I had no history of mental illness, and I knew I was hearing voices, but I just didn't understand exactly how I was hearing them or why I was hearing them. I've always heard about throwing your voice, but this takes throwing your voice to a whole new level. But it's very easy to do with the right equipment, and not a lot of psychiatrists, psychologists, and even law enforcement know that this happens. For one, this exists, or how to do it. They definitely don't know how to do it, and they definitely don't know how to stop it, because you need some sophisticated equipment, because these guys have been doing this for a long time. I'm guessing Gangstalkers have been in the business for at least 70 years or longer. But anyways, that's one part of it. And one thing I've read online too is I've read that some Gangstalkers purport to be doing good for their community by targeting and isolating deviant people. and criminals. This is the biggest line of bullshit I have ever heard in my life, because I was a social worker my entire life, went to college, graduated high school. This is a pretty typical guy, and if this can happen to me, this can happen to anyone, anywhere. Because like I said in other videos, they followed me around the world and made me pass out and unconscious and do different things that I had no idea that somebody else was doing. But now that I've talked to them and I know more about it and how it works, I see that I have been followed probably my whole life, including my childhood, which a lot of victims don't know. You are basically followed and monitored from your childhood, from your earliest ages of probably when you're born until you're dead. And I mean, they've done plenty of things throughout my childhood and even adulthood that I don't want to go into, but they were all bad things that you would think would happen to an unlucky person or something like that. But these are not unlucky occurrences. These are things that are completed by people. They're the gang stalkers, so they're completed by people who are murderers and rapists and would be facing life sentences, mandatory life sentences, if ever caught and prosecuted. And the fact remains the same. These people try and push any other victims to the edge to commit suicide and pretend that they're mentally ill, or get them to claim they're meant to talk to their psychiatrist about the voices they're hearing. So now they're diagnosed mentally ill when they in fact have no mental illness at all. But the psychiatrist doesn't know enough about it. And they've even told me if you refuse to kill yourself, they're going to have to do it. And they will do it in the worst way possible, by destroying you. It's character assassination completely, number one. And then isolation, and then basically death. So you're killed in the absolute worst way possible. I mean, I can't even smell have a sense of smell during most of my day, nor taste my food. And I will at times, and other times it'll be totally gone. So you know that this has been going on for a long time, and these guys are not nice guys. But they will also tell you that they're experimenting on you, and they're using you as an example to teach others how to gang stalk. I mean, like I said, this crime is super easy and has the ability to be replicated and carried out anywhere, with little to no interference at all from law enforcement, the FCC, or anyone. And because of this, this crime will become increasingly popular as time goes on, and we become in a more electrified world. So we're going to have more internet, we're going to have more Wi-Fi, we're going to have everything's going to be more interconnected, and this crime is going to be even more popular than it is now. And I have a feeling it's extremely popular now, with a huge network, or several networks of several thousand gang stalkers who have done this for their entire life. But just remember that the gang stalkers are not nice people, never have been, never will be, and they are definitely not your friend. And you have a right to privacy, you have a right to a fair and equal life, as they themselves would be entitled to if they didn't infringe upon your life and destroy it. Because especially if you've done nothing to deserve this type of attention or these circumstances that destroy your life. Because it's a constant monitoring 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And no one should ever have to go through that without a break of privacy, even at your most private moments that you are never private. You have people watching you and recording you, most likely, to play back for other people, and so they can, talk about it and brag about it. But yeah, the best thing you can do is just keep watching my videos. I really appreciate it, and I'm not sure how much time I have left, but I want to thank you very much. I hope you have a great day.